Welcome to It Takes Two. I'm Blair.
I'm Chris.
And today we'll be talking about Family Empire Houston, Season 1, Episode 5.
Listen, we're going to do this show with everybody now.
Mm-hmm.
We was late to the party, and I feel like we didn't get a chance to enjoy it with the viewers in real time, but now we get to. So because of that, I need y'all to subscribe, like, share, comment with us what you think about this episode. You ready to walk us through it?
I'm ready.
Let's go.
So Chris presents his own contract to Nicole and Misha.
Okay.
He thinks that they should be building a team around him. He compares himself to Kobe.
Okay.
Nicole says he ain't no Kobe.
He ain't no Kobe. R.I.P. Kobe.
So he walks them through the contract. He is fine with keeping the pay the same.
Mm-hmm.
Nicole thinks that it's reasonable. They're actually pretty happy that he came in prepared because they presented the contract. It was hard to get into contact with him. He wasn't coming to work.
Mm-hmm.
So for him to come to this meeting prepared was actually a pleasant surprise to both of them.
Nice.
So Misha says that she wants it to be an exclusive contract to where there's no compete with other real estate companies. So Chris is like, well, exclusivity is going to come with a higher price.
Of course.
So Nicole says, okay, well, how about for 3 months we keep the pay the same, and then from there we can discuss a pay raise for exclusivity.
Mm-hmm.
So Chris says, you guys already know what I can do. You've seen my work. I don't need to be on any type of probation period. And then Nicole says, well, maybe we can put it down to like 60 days.
Mm-hmm.
Misha says he hasn't really been consistent in the past, so he kind of does need this probation period. So they agree on the 60-day probation period with the possible discussion of a pay increase after that. So yes.
Is there any thoughts that you have about this scene?
I thought that they communicated really well.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that they came to a mutually beneficial agreement.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no comments too much for me. I thought it was kind of good all the way around. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was a good decision. I thought it was a good way for them to actually come to a agreement. Mm-hmm. But I will say this though, Chris, I'm rooting for you. You are my namesake, okay? So I do hope that he shows up to work on time. And it's one thing to have two bosses who both say the same thing about you.
Yeah.
It's one thing if Nicole said we can't depend on you, but you got Misha who said we can't depend on you either. Mm-hmm. You get what I'm saying? So hopefully you prove yourself right.
Right.
You know?
So Misha picks up her aunties. One of them has a knee surgery. So she is pretty much trapping them in the car so she can talk about this.
You can't run away. You can't run away.
Talk about this land situation.
You can't run away.
So she gets them flowers so she can butter them up a little bit. And pretty much they're just like, okay, what you want? So Misha brings up the land and she's asking where they stand on their thoughts about it. So Auntie Cheryl, who's in the front seat, says that y'all G2s are trying to go out of order.
Out of order.
It's the OGs, which is Granny. G1s, the kids, G2s, the grandkids, and then they do got some G3s running around as well.
Just in case you can't count, 1, 2, 3.
And that was Cheryl's whole point. The order. So Charlotte, she had a question to ask, but she can't really remember, so we're going to circle back around to Auntie Charlotte. Misha says that the land is not y'all's land. It's Granny's land. So she feels that the G2s can take the land, transform it, and allow it to be their contribution to the Braden legacy. Cheryl, the order is important. 1, 2, 3. Misha says, well, we could make this into a multi-million-dollar project, but at the end of the day, it's not about the money. It's about holding on to the legacy. For the G1s, it seems like y'all looking at it as a payday, but we're not looking at a payday. We're looking at trying to have the legacy live on. And Charlotte tells her that she needs to watch her tone because you say it's a payday, but we call it our inheritance.
Yes. I would say, in other words, some would say birthright.
Hello?
You get what I'm saying? And you're trying to get me to sell my birthright. That's for anybody who be reading y'all Bible or whatever, things of that nature, right? Of how bad that is to do. But I will say this. Outside of the 1, 2, 3, Misha, I'm with you, but I'm only with you if your intentions are pure. Right? And it's very hard for humans' intentions to be 100% pure. I think Misha wants to make a name for herself, something that we are going to revisit in this episode later on. She wants to spearhead this project. That's very specific.
Right.
She just don't want the benefit for the family. She wants to be the reason.
She wants her name to be on
Come
it.
on now. And that's not pure. You get what I'm saying? That's not 100% pure. Yes, you may contribute to a good thing, but I wonder, Misha, does it matter if you're not spearheading the project? Does it matter if you get no credit for any of this? That let's say she does keep the land. Let's say Granny keep the land and like it stays in the family for like the G2, G3, G4, G5, G8s and all that stuff, and your name is never mentioned with the whole idea. Would that suffice for you? And I don't think for a lot of humans that wouldn't. So I think it's kind of hypocritical for Misha to kind of accuse the G1s, like y'all just looking for a payday and things like that. Well, Misha, you looking to put your name in lights.
Yeah,
you get what I'm saying. So that's the only criticism I have of Misha. It's not so much of a bad thing, but it's not as pure. You get what I'm saying? Okay. Any thoughts you have on that?
Well, I'll talk about it after we kind of see her with her kids and her husband.
Okay.
I feel like she goes into it a little more detail.
Okay, let's go.
So she's out with her kids and her husband playing football in the park. She is really happy about Braden getting into luxury. Nicole has been the face of the business so far, and Jermeshia has been the broker in the background. But being the broker is the whole reason that you guys have a real estate agency. So that's the kind of point that they're making is Nicole's the face, but you're the broker. So Misha does the admin side and Nicole does the marketing, which they agreed on when they started the business, that Misha wanted to take kind of more of a backseat role to it. But she feels like it's her time to step into her season. Justin tells her that she needs to let people know that she's the broker. And Misha says that she is going to be working on starting a podcast to get her brand out there, because her brand is, all types of things, being a mom, a wife, and a businesswoman. So now, for my opinion, I don't think it's a bad thing that Misha wants to kind of step out and have her moment in the light.
Okay.
I think that if she's put in a lot of work, she has done everything that she needs to do for the business, and maybe now she's at the point to where she wants a little recognition. She wants to be more in the public eye. The show is coming about, so why not use your platform to kind of boost up yourself and your immediate family with her husband and kids to make sure that they make the most of their situation. So I think that's a positive, but I do feel that with Misha wanting this land and, saying that it's, for the Braden legacy, I think that's positive. But I also feel like she, in a way, is kind of sliding the G1s in the way that she's going about it. And I think that's what they're picking up on and they're having an issue with is you want to go ahead and take the land and do whatever you want with it. But we were over here working for mom and dad and helping to build the business so they could have the money to do all the things. Like, no, maybe we weren't technically like the real estate agents or the people with the know-how the way that you guys are, but we put a lot into helping our parents, and they want their inheritance. And I guess it is a fine line of trying to respect that, but also wanting to make sure that you let them know, like, this could be bigger than we could ever imagine if you guys would just kind of allow us to have it. But I do feel that Misha isn't being respectful enough of the order, as Auntie Cheryl would say.
2, 3.
Yeah, because by her making comments of like y'all looking at it like a payday, or her comments about like Granny and Granddad been selling stuff to pay off y'all's bills and stuff like that, it does make it sound like there's a disregard for them and the work that they've put into the family and the legacy. Like the G2s aren't the only people who are working towards the legacy of the family. So but I don't know a better way to do it. She has to sell what her dreams are, but maybe with less negative commentary. I don't know.
Can I take this left?
Go ahead.
I might take this off a cliff. I might take it off the cliff. So we may crash and burn here.
All right.
I understand that during the time, especially since Misha just had a baby, I think the baby was like young, like 1 year old and things like that, that she was basically doing the background, right? And Nicole was the face of the company, the sales and marketing side of it, right? And the thing that is so interesting about being the face of the company, people would think you are the reason for the company. And then that's the everybody want a ball. That's one of the quotes I tell Blair all the time, right? And I think Misha is on the side of like, without me, especially when you got your husband in your ear, right? It's always somebody who you trust that may tell you something that you may just have to table for a little bit. But because she trusts her husband, she loves her husband, basically we wouldn't be here without you. You need to put your face out there. Now, I wonder, now this is where it becomes a little left for me, and y'all can correct me in the comments. I promise I have no microaggressions. I have a black woman, right?
Hello.
Right? Does it serve the company that Nicole's the face? Every time I see Nicole, mind you, this is supposed to be a luxury real estate company. Every time I see Nicole, she's in a mink. You get what I'm saying? She gives off luxury and things like that. And Misha, to her words, to paraphrase, give off relatable. You get what I'm saying? So I'm like, does it serve the company overall to keep Nicole as the face because she gives off this luxury lifestyle compared to Misha, who's basically like, hey, I am the one that's in the trenches. I'm the one in the background. I'm relatable. I want to make a podcast for moms and basically people who get back to work and who's in business and things like that. That's the question I'm asking you, Bled. Like, do you kind of get what I'm saying? When
I get what you're saying, but I feel like you're kind of bleeding the two into each other.
Help me then.
Because I feel like Nicole is the face of the company and she's going to remain the face of the company. I think that Misha just wants to branch out and be able to have her own separate brand to where she can build something up for her family and her family's legacy, as well as Braden. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I think that it does benefit the company to have Nicole as the face. It's been doing well. And if we're going to talk about, colorism or, sizeism or all the isms and stuff like that, it does matter what you present to the public and what, majority of people might find something that they like want or aspire to be or whatever the case may be. Like, those things play into it as well. So I don't think that there's any change that's happening as far as Nicole being the face.
Okay, so
but
basically
Misha just wants her own thing.
She ain't trying to replace Nicole as the face
I
of Braden.
don't see it that way.
Okay. We ain't go too left. I swerved. You get what I'm saying?
I mean, but what do you think?
No, I think here's the thing. I am I'm a team player, right? And I believe everybody on the team has a role. And I understand, and that's why I was under the impression that, hey, I understand I do the admin and in the background, but I want to be out there selling houses with you, Nicole, and things like that. So I was under the impression that outside of the podcast and the other things she want to do, she kind of want to be the face as well with Nicole. Kind of like on the same, like basically like we both be out here doing what like we doing. But the way you explain it to me, it make it seem like she just using that as motivation to get her own thing going outside of the thing that's already outside of the formula that seemed like it's working already with Braden.
Yeah.
But I do agree with the whole class. With the whole what is the thing?
Colorism.
With the whole colorism thing and how people may look at that and how for your benefit play into that and things like that. But I was hoping that this wasn't one of those conversations to where you kind of cut your nose off to spite your face. Like now all of a sudden, like you feel some type of way because Nicole's the face, but you're really the mastermind in the background, and I want them to potentially butt heads at that. At their work outside of the land down the line. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah. So it is rodeo season in Houston.
Yeah.
And they are throwing a rodeo roundup for the agency for coworkers and families, everyone to get together and just be celebrated. So Nicole is talking to her husband and she tells him the adoption specialist is coming today and as well as the attorney to explain the legal process about how we can go about adopting.
Yeah.
He says he didn't know about it. Nicole says she told him. So this is just kind of one of the things that I noticed just in their communication or the marriage that they don't necessarily be on the same page a lot of the time.
Yeah.
But I also think a huge part of that is because of his work schedule. He's tired a lot. I mean, I don't know if she told him or not. I would assume she did.
I hope
but
he
it's
did.
very possible he could have been laying in the bed when she told him and he was drifting in and out of sleep.
Yeah.
So
and
it could be a multitude of things.
And I did plant that seed of discord, if you want to call it that. I asked Blair in one of these episodes, check out the playlist, do they like each other? Does he like her? Why does he work so much if it's not needed to the point where they're missing each other, where they're working so much to where they're basically two ships just missing each other? Does it have to be that way?
Right.
And I'm like, if it doesn't have to be that way, then why are you choosing for it to be that way? Because a lot of things get slipped through the crack just as, hey, can you put some drawers on? We got the people coming today. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. So they would want somebody to be close to their daughter's age, who was 7 years old. They're sitting down talking to the specialist there. Mm-hmm. They explained that there are open and closed adoptions, and Nicole asked if there are any requirements as far as them adopting. Mm-hmm. So there would have to be a home study done by a social worker. It'll take a few months to do. They'll also have to go through some background checks as well. Yeah. They have to file like a petition to adopt. During that time, they will be terminating the birth parents' like rights as parents. Mm-hmm. If Nicole and her husband were to divorce, one could be awarded custody, one might have to pay child support. Like, the child will be yours legally, mm-hmm. and everything from that, no matter how your relationship is, the child would need to be cared for by y'all.
Facts.
So they feel like it's a lot to take in. Mm-hmm. Nicole's husband would prefer that the records be sealed, do a closed adoption, so that way like the family wouldn't be able to come in and out, mm-hmm. or think that maybe they can take the child away. So they just want to make sure that their daughter is comfortable with it. The husband is saying at this point, the daughter has like only child syndrome. She's 7 years old. She mm-hmm. hasn't had to share or, be raised, with another sibling in the house. But the dad feels like, Leighton, their daughter, is going to be the deciding factor on whether or not they do this.
I only got a few things to say because I know you have some things to say about this. Mm-hmm. And my statement is really a question. Mm-hmm. Do you think putting because after we talked about it privately, it made me think a little bit. Okay. Do you think, my question is a statement, do you think that him putting it on his daughter to be the deciding factor is a way to neglect what his wife wants?
I think it possibly could be.
Okay.
I think that it could be twofold though. I think it could be one of him wanting to like not want to mess, the vibe up in the house, mm-hmm. not wanting to stir things up, allowing, mm-hmm. His birth daughter to feel like protected and safe and all that type of stuff. Mm-hmm. But I also think of it as, well, if you guys were to get pregnant again, that's not something that you would discuss with your daughter as far as getting her input on.
The natural part, yep.
Yeah, the natural birth. So if you guys want to expand your family, I think it would have to be more of a discussion of, hey, you're going to get a sibling and we're going to take you to counseling and just have someone talk to you. And just that way you have a good understanding what the process is, so that you're comfortable when, mm-hmm. Things start to move forward and you get a sister or a brother. So I really feel like it's up to the parents to make that decision. And for the dad, it could be a little bit of a possible cop out of the daughter gets to decide. Our daughter is the final choice or final say. And I just don't think that a child should have the final say in what you guys as a family, as adults, decide to do. So
yeah, basically don't give adult decisions to a child.
Right.
And the reason why I asked that is because if you look at the confessionals, listen, don't let Carlos break y'all up. But I'm saying if you look at the confessionals, he said, I'm about 50%. She said she's all in.
Yeah, she really wants to do it.
How is that possible? Mm-hmm. Like Nicole, you're not gonna be a single mom. You get what I'm saying? And even I'm sure, I'm just guessing that his schedule, he's gonna work out his schedule to where he can help raise the child and things of that nature.
I don't know.
So we hope, right? So my whole thing is, if you're all in and he's at 50%, then we at a standstill. Is this gonna be one of the situations to where you do it with him knowing or him remembering? Because he didn't remember this important. Because this is supposed to be important. This is something she really wants. Mm-hmm. She talked to Granny about it. She talked to us about it, and she don't know us. You get what I'm saying? So if something as important, and for him to basically be like, look, we gonna put it on this 7-year-old to make to be the deciding factor, and I'm 50% about it, and I didn't kind of remember about this meeting. I don't know if you told me, but if you did, I didn't remember because it's not that important to me. It kind of made me go, y'all not on the same page,
right?
And that is not. Don't bring a kid into that environment.
Right.
That's basically what I'm long-winded, y'all. That's basically what I was trying to get to. Don't bring no kid into that environment if y'all gonna be like this. You get what I'm saying?
So, well, okay. I feel like you did answer the question. Okay. So
see, look, you should got me curious now. What is the question?
No, I was just saying, like, do you think it's fair for him to put that on the daughter? But pretty much you're saying
it's not. Right? It's not fair, but I don't know how. Like, he don't seem very like. Like as sure as Nicole is, he don't feel that way.
But I'm saying, should it be the daughter should be the deciding factor?
No,
do you agree with that or no?
I would agree with that if he was fully into it.
Okay.
Like, so I'm saying because he kind of wish-washy with it, it kind of sounds. I don't know how true. I don't know if he's being 100% honest about that. More than he just trying to pass the buck. If he's like, I really do want a kid too, but look, our daughter, she's
priority.
Exactly. But now it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm 50% about it. You know what? If Leah ain't cool with it, I ain't cool with it. It's like I can't tell how you feel about it. You get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Okay. So we move on to Nicole and Keisha. They are having their meeting with the counselor, Dr. Khan. So Nicole explains how that they're sisters with having the same dad, different moms, birthdays only a few months apart.
Yeah.
So for Nicole, she says it was a situation of there being another child, and the counselor says something about like, okay, so there was an outside child, and Keisha says that she was not an outside child. Their dad was intimate with two women, but Nicole's mom was the person who decided to stay. And Keisha explains it to us that an outside child is when someone is cheating outside of their marriage, but their dad was not married at the time. Keisha thought that her brother's dad was her dad until she found out through the aunts. They did a DNA test, and when she was 7 years old, they started bringing her around the family so she could know who the family was. So the counselor asked for examples when someone had felt hurt or slighted. And Keisha, she's very kind of tight-lipped. She's trying to explain herself, but you can tell at the same time that I don't know if she doesn't know how to express herself or if she doesn't want to go into detail about how much she wants to expose. It's like she's not quite comfortable in this space, I don't think. So Nicole takes it upon herself to say, well, I can give an example. So she said that the family took a family trip, and usually everybody kind of makes their own arrangements. So Nicole and her sister that she grew up with, Monet, they made arrangements to stay together, and then Misha and Quita, who are sisters, made arrangements to stay with their family together, but nobody took the time to like reach out to Keisha and find out where she was staying or who she wanted to stay with. Keisha says that all of this really could have been avoided years ago if Nicole would have listened to her. She feels like she's come to Nicole before, but things just kind of weren't reciprocated or not received well on Nicole's end. But ultimately, she feels that if their dad would have done a better job, that they could have been closer. Nicole doesn't feel comfortable coming to Keisha either as far as being vulnerable or talking about her feelings. And that's pretty much why they're here in this counseling session, to try to bridge that gap. So the counselor tells them that it's good that you guys have a common goal, that you want to be closer. In the meantime, do some homework, journal about some hard things that come up when you think about it, and pretty much we'll revisit the next time.
Yeah, this is a little bit of semantics with a side of lies, a little bit, in my opinion. I understand, and when I say semantics, I mean we are really splitting hairs right now. I don't know why, but I understand Keisha 100% when she says I'm not an outside child, because you're putting something on me that technically is not true. I understand her definition of, hey, our dad was dating two women at the same time. He did not have any type of commitment, well, obviously, to to either of them. He wasn't engaged or married to either of them. In that process, we both was born.
Right.
After the fact, he married your mom. So I can understand why she may feel like, I'm not the outside child. I understand why Nicole may feel like, you are the outside child, because he's decided to stay here with me. He decided to build a home up with us. That's why Nicole can say things such as, how do you feel about how, our life was kind of better than yours? Kind of like, I'm like, that's kind of wild to say, but I understand why you may feel that way, Nicole. I do feel like everybody played a part in this, but I think they need to come together and just be against their father. Pretty much. I feel like there's things that Nicole's mother probably said. There's some things Nicole probably said or probably alluded to. There's probably things Keisha mama said and Keisha said and things like that during the time while she was alive and things of that nature. And I'm just saying, like, the common enemy is Frank. It's him. He caused all this confusion. You get what I'm saying? So I shouldn't put all my zeal and all that stuff against you because you're my sister. Now, of course, with all the what's the word? all the actions that Frank did caused this basically domino effect of how Nicole felt like, well, this is my sister because we in the house and nobody's checking on the sister arrangements. And those are little things that can slip in the crack that you can actually fix with conversations and things like that. But the common enemy is the father. And I feel like they need to basically confront him and basically be like you are really the common denominator in all of this.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, clearly things from parents trickle down to children, and having two different moms, you know, it appeared to me, and I could definitely be reaching.
Help me.
And especially like I think we saw some previews. I think that Nicole's mom didn't want Keisha to be around. I think that, and even though Keisha said like the mom, like she was nice to me, like in front of my face and all this type of stuff, but I don't know how she really felt. I think Nicole's mom was probably like, it probably would have been a lot more peaceful if they never went to try to do the DNA test and bring her around when she was 7 years old. Like, I feel like the mom would have been content of having her husband, her two kids, and we just don't know about the other one.
That's kind of foul, though.
Yeah. And I feel like that sentiment, even if Nicole knew or didn't know, probably was felt in the home.
I see what you're saying.
You know, and it was probably like, oh, okay, well, now we got to do this because now we know that because the aunts wanted to step in and get involved and all this type of stuff. And which I feel like is a great thing the aunt got involved, because apparently the dad wasn't going to figure out the situation and they wanted to make sure that Keisha knew who her family was and everything like that. But with that did probably come with some contention and some anger and some resentment of like, okay, now we know, so we can't just ignore you. Yeah. You know? And like I said, like, I don't think the issue really is between Nicole and Keisha. I do feel like if you guys like are raised with different mothers, living in two different households, it's not going to be the same sisterly bond or, you know, sibling bond as the person you were raised in the same house with. It's going to be different. Yeah. But it does take effort to try to come together. And I honestly feel like Keisha puts a lot on Nicole, I feel like, to be the mature one.
You think so?
Because, you know, Keisha says like she looks up to Nicole as an older sister, even though they're the same age. And I think that Nicole, she does come across as well put together. Her head is on straight. She is a good communicator. And it seems like Keisha struggles a little bit in those areas. But I feel like Keisha, like, you guys both have the same accountability when it comes to creating a stronger sisterly bond. But I
don't know about that.
I do. I feel like they do. But I just feel like Nicole, like, it's not going to be the same as the sister she grew up with. It's just not. It's just not. And they just have to figure out what their relationship is going to be, you know?
Yeah. The reason why I only disagree with that last part, because I agree with all the other parts you said. Some things, it's like in sports, we call it like an unspoken rule, to where it's not really a rule, but it's like it's felt. You know what I'm saying? I don't think, and listen, I don't know. I don't think factually, actually, Nicole mother said, hey, I need y'all to hate y'all little sister Keisha. Right. I don't think it's like that. But to your point, I can feel it though. I can feel the separation. I can feel the isolation.
Or even a thing of just like, I'm your mom. Like,
exactly.
You should be loyal to me.
So
you know
exactly. So I think it's one of those things to where it's like, Nicole can say, hey, my mom never said anything bad about me. But at the same time, like, she wasn't open to the fact of me ever getting to know you though. And that takes some type of intentionality and some type of feelings that can be felt. Even though you may not have said it or expressed it, and yes, whenever I came by, you made sure I had something to drink and maybe an apple or something like that. But I could tell you're not really like, I am just a reminder of the mistake. That's why I'm the outside child, you know? So that's why I think Keisha, and truth be told, I actually understand Keisha and where she's coming from, because she talks as if like everything is felt. So like she can't recount exact quotes, because I don't think there is exact quotes as in hate Keisha, y'all, do not invite Keisha. But something as simple as, how come nobody didn't make sure my arrangements was cool?
Yeah, clearly I'm a second thought.
And now that confirms not what was said, but what I felt.
Yeah.
And I can't really tell you like what happened there or actually point the finger objectively. But what I've been feeling is that y'all been treating me like an outside child. And I keep telling y'all I'm not the outside child. I'm practically your sister, same age and things like that. So I agree with everything you said about the whole ordeal. And hopefully throughout the season we get to see a little bit more of that.
Yeah. So we're at the Rodeo Round Up event. Nicole tells Chris that she is glad that he is here. She didn't want to have to fire nobody. And Chris is definitely on probation in Nicole's eyes. Oscarine arrives. Chris is taking content for the day. He's doing pictures, videos, you know, doing everything that he's supposed to be doing. Keisha and her girlfriend arrive, and Auntie checks in on Keisha and just lets her know, you know, I love you. I know sometimes my delivery be off, but I just want you to know, like, I really love and care about you. You are my niece. Okay. So Nicole tells Jermeshia that the therapy session went well. It did seem that Keisha was holding back a little bit, and Keisha has expressed that she has trust issues and she really doesn't trust anybody. But they're going to keep going to try to mend this relationship.
Nice.
So Aunt Charlotte sitting down, you know, inside the building. She had her surgery, so she's just kind of chilling. Nicole goes in to check on her, make sure she's good, if she needs any food, water, anything like that. Then they start talking about how Nicole has an idea about the land. And she's like, she thinks that they could subdivide the land to where they have some homes that they sell and some homes that they keep to rent. And the ones that we sell, we can give the money to the G1s as your inheritance. So Granny comes over. Charlotte, you know, says that she pretty much likes the idea, and she has Nicole relay the idea to Granny. And Granny thinks that it is a good idea. So the thing is, the siblings came with the idea for, they also come up with the idea for Jermeshia to be the project manager and Granny to pay her a salary so that way she can have total control and in charge of the project. Granny is also happy with paying Jermeshia to do that. Okay. So Misha, Quita, and Auntie walk in because they're just like, where everybody at? Like, why y'all sitting around like talking all quiet and stuff like that? Like, what kind of conversations are y'all having? So Misha is shocked to hear that Nicole has a plan. We see some flashbacks of Misha just being excited, trying to sell this idea to the family, putting everything out there about what she sees for the future for them. And Nicole was quiet. All Nicole pretty much said is Granny okay with this? And Misha was pretty much trying to just galvanize the people to come on board so she wasn't doing this alone. So Nicole explains the idea, and Misha jokes, or not jokes, but sarcastically says like, okay, that sounds fun. She wanted to spearhead the idea, but she wasn't trying to be no project manager. She's not looking for a new job. So Monet pipes up and asks about, okay, we talking about the land, but what about the reception halls and the beauty shop?
Okay, Monet.
Monet works at the beauty shop. And they're like, so what, you want the beauty shop, Monet? And Granny is like, look, I got 5 kids. Y'all are the grandchildren. Y'all come second. 1, 2. Okay, that's what y'all is. Y'all 2. So they pull over the daddy. Justin comes in, Misha's husband, asking questions, and it's just a little too much going on, a little too many hands in the pot. Granny claps her hands for everybody to shut the hell up. And that's where we end. You go first on this. I feel like Nicole should have discussed that with Misha first. Misha was the one who had the idea about the land. You weren't totally sold on the idea. And I feel like if Nicole, was being 100% pure and genuine about, okay, you got an idea for the land, let's talk it out, let's talk about all these different ideas, then I feel like she should have collaborated with Misha on the ideas. It did in a way feel a little bit sneaky for her to go to Aunt Charlotte, who we know Aunt Charlotte and Aunt Cheryl are the ones who kind of have Granny's ear when it comes to decision making. Come on, Blake, you speak about language now. So she gets Aunt Charlotte when she's alone, when Nicole already knows Misha took Aunt Charlotte to the surgery so she can have some alone time with her, but you find your own way to get some alone time with her. And then just so happened Granny walks over, you pitch this idea that everybody loves. Now there could very well possibly some type of sibling cousin rivalry going on, because I don't know why Nicole couldn't share that idea with Misha. Why were you so tight-lipped when she was expressing herself, but now that you're by yourself, you're pitching this idea and pitching a job for Misha when Misha didn't even say she wanted to do that? And hold on, I gotta cut you off right here. I'm done. Go ahead. Just for a second, though, because I need you to jump back in because you on fire. Okay. Right?
Was they not at the dinner when they were kind of talking when Keisha was there? She was like, yeah, and we can property manage this and things like that. They were like, ha, 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 property manage, not us.
Exactly.
And things like that. So, but now
that's a good idea.
Now Nicole is saying that, Misha can property manage it. Why? How come you can't property manage it?
And just like Misha and Quita was saying, we hire people for that. But now you don't want to. Now Misha's got to be property manager.
Ooh, listen,
or project manager.
Yeah, because I think
we mixed it.
Is it project or property? I don't know.
Property is different than project.
Okay, whatever it is project. You right, Blair? You hit the nail on the head a whole bunch of times. I was about to say, get off my chair.
Okay.
Right? Okay, I was about to say that, right? But I told y'all so. Go back to episode 1, 2, 3, 4. I told y'all so about Nicole. It's not that Nicole is nasty, but she is. Here's the thing. I think Nicole have a goal, right? To be viewed a certain way, to be respected a certain way, and things like that. She demands the room. You get what I'm saying? And she do not care who she got to step on to basically get to whatever place or goal she wants to get to. All this time, Misha is the oldest out of the G2s. Right? She is the oldest out of the G2s. All this time, that's all Misha been talking about. Every time I talk to Granny, you talk to Granny. And you undo all the work and all the manipulation I done did. You get what I'm saying? Now, all of a sudden, there's a good idea. And now Granny said, yeah, it is a good idea. Nicole, you tell her. You get what I'm saying? And my whole thing is now Misha just sitting there like, I drive to the property every day. I talk to the people every day. I got the people to make me a blueprint and all this stuff. I'm taking our aunties to the surgery. You get the benefit of having a cripple, but she's done with the surgery. You ain't got to drive her nowhere. I drove them. I went and got them flowers. I'm doing all the hard work as the broker.
Hello?
As the background. Now you get to come who can't even really do all the work that I can do because I have the license. Now you get to come and you get to be the idea, the spearhead, the face of the idea of like, yeah, it was actually Nicole's idea to sell the houses. Why didn't you bring that to me? Why couldn't you let me have that?
Right. Everybody want a ball.
Everybody want a ball. I'm telling you. And my whole thing is I don't want y'all to get in these comments and say Nicole is a snake. Nicole is this. I really just think there's two sister cousins, whatever they are, that really have two goals. And they basically going like this. They running a race.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Now that Monet, is that her name?
Yes.
Watch her.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Because she's like, hey, I work at the beauty supply. What you gonna do with the reception hall and the beauty supply? And I'm like, Granny not even dead yet.
Exactly.
And this is probably why Misha is basically was saying in the previous episodes, we gotta do this and have something right in now. Because I don't think they gonna wait for the body to be cold to basically start scratching and pulling away what they believe is theirs.
Exactly.
You get what I'm saying? So whose side am I on? I'm on Granny's side. And the Granny side is mine. And if y'all keep acting like this, I sell the land and nobody get nothing. You get what I'm saying? Because truth be told, Granny's just trying to give them the inheritance while she's alive.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So I found it very interesting in that moment as Blair hit the nail on the head 30 times that you went and had this conversation knowing that I've been spearheading this, and you turned me from a spearhead to a project manager with a salary, with a cap. You get what I'm saying? It's very. I work for you. And Misha's like, no. I want a ball. Pass the ball, Kobe. Pass the ball. You know what I mean? Anything else?
That's all I got.
I'm enjoying it so far. Hopefully y'all get to watch it with us and comment with us. Let us know what you think about everything that we said, everything about this conversation and so forth. And we will see you next week.
Bye.